Hi there, I'm Lisa. Welcome in. Welcome to your practice here. It's the holidays, and I thought we would do a holiday-inspired flow optional practice. This will be about 30 or 40 minutes, and you'll have the option to move through traditional vinyasa flows if you'd like to. Otherwise, we could come to downward facing dog, or we could come to child's pose, or just anything that feels comfortable in that place at that time. Let's get started here on the mat. We're going to come all the way down. We celebrate Christmas here in my house, so Christmas tree will be inspired by all of the holidays that we celebrate during the winter time as we move throughout our practice today. Let's start in child's pose. If child's pose isn't comfortable to you for any reason, your knees or your back or any other reason, you're welcome to modify that with any props you might have, or simply sit in an upright seated position or lie down onto your back. The important thing is that you find a place that you feel comfortable and grounded.
We'll be here for a few breaths. If you're in child's pose, you can feel that the front body is constricted somewhat. So you might feel as though you're breathing into your back body. Feel as though you're breathing into your back waist. Resting here, we might be inspired by the seeds tucked into the earth, lying dormant through the winter, waiting to come back out in the spring. We'll take one more breath here. And as you're ready to, let's come up to hands and knees.
From hands and knees table, we'll move through cow and cat. Let's take that nice and slow, and let's actually let the breath lead us in our movement. So that as we inhale, that's when we begin to rise the head, lift the sit bones up, and coming into our cow pose. And the next time that you exhale, let that draw you up, rounding the back up into cow. Moving at the speed of your own breath. One more time through. From here, returning back to table. This is like our Kwanzaa table set with bounty, reminding us of the bounty that exists in our lives. We'll walk the hands a little further forward. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck the toes under. Rise up into downward facing dog. Now you might choose to lift your knees up. You might choose to leave your knees down. And maybe just for our practice today, we might rename this shape. Maybe this is downward facing reindeer. Breathe in this shape, whether you have your knees up off the ground or knees down on the ground, and you could walk the hands a little further forward. Take one more breath here. With an inhale breath, slide forward. This is our plank pose, but maybe for today, our holiday-inspired practice, we might call this our sled pose. We'll move back and forth between downward facing reindeer and sled. Inhaling with the exhale breath, moving back. Inhale breath, sliding forward. We're just creating some heat in the body so that if you need to drop onto the knees here, go ahead and drop onto the knees. You can do the same thing, sliding forward and sliding back. We'll do that one more time. Inhale breath. And with the exhale breath, downward facing reindeer. As you're ready to walk or hop the feet forward toward your hands, we'll take an inhale breath, rise up halfway, hands onto the shins. Exhale breath, if it feels good, dive back in. And with your next inhale breath, rising all the way up, raised hands and arms down by your sides. Now I'm going to turn and face the front. You can be facing any which way you like. Take an inhale breath, rise the arms up. With the exhale breath, come up and over to the side. Maybe we'll be inspired by candy canes. We probably won't get to the candy cane shape here, but we could be inspired by them. Take an inhale breath, rising back up through the center, and exhale up and over to the side. Take an inhale breath, and exhale breath. Try that one more time. Inhale through, and exhale. We'll inhale back into the center with the exhale breath, folding forward. Inhale breath, halfway lift. Exhale breath, returning to downward facing reindeer. Inhale breath here. With the exhale breath, how slowly can you lower the knees down and keep the elbows straight? We'll give that a try. Landing in our table. Walk the hands out under the shoulders, knees under the hips. The knees can come a little closer toward each other, extending one leg out, and then we'll lift the opposite arm up. And squeeze strongly into the back of the hip. Try to keep the knee joint straight as much as you can. The elbow joint stays straight. And all around your midsection, drawing in and up. Maybe for today, we'll call this one balancing reindeer. Take a big breath in, breathe out, and bring the hand and knee back into place. Let's try that on either side. Inhale, breath, extending out. Arm reaches just as far as it feels comfortable for you. You can always slide it out if that feels better than sliding it forward. Squeeze strongly into the back of the hip, glute max to lift the leg. Take one more breath in, breathe out, and slide the hand and knee back into place. Why don't we change our balancing reindeer into a flying reindeer? Inhale, breath, extend arm and leg up and out. Exhale, breath, draw it back in. We can change sides, alternating side to side, inhaling and exhaling. Continuing to move at the speed of your breath. And we'll try that one more time. Inhale, breath, and exhale, breath. Yogi's choice here, if you'd like to take a resting pose, child's pose, or maybe something lying down on your abdomen, or just having a seat, you're welcome to do that. You could stretch in downward facing dog, or if you'd like to move through a traditional flow or a non-traditional flow, you could do that too. So whether you need stillness or stretch or movement, give that to yourself right now. Let's all meet back in downward facing reindeer. Look forward toward your hands with an inhale breath. Step, walk, or float the feet forward. Come to halfway lift. Exhale breath. Dive in if that feels good. Inhale breath. Look up. Rise to our raised hands. And exhale, lower the arms down. Any way that you are, we'll come back into our candy cane. Big breath in. Reach the arms up. Big breath out, side bend. If it feels better to take an arm down to help support your back, take a hand down onto your thigh. Inhale back through the center, exhale up and over to the side. And maybe that just feels interesting to take the hand down. Inhale up, exhale. One more time through, inhaling and exhaling. We'll inhale, come back into the center, and with the exhale breath, lower the arms down. So we're at the front of the mat. Take an inhale breath, rise the arms up. Maybe our raised hands reminds us of candles that we often use to celebrate the holidays. So whether it's Hanukkah candles or Kwanzaa candles, or maybe a candle in your Advent wreath, we can take an inhale breath. Imagine that flame, the fingertips, and exhale breath folding. Inhale breath, halfway lift. With the exhale breath here, you're welcome to move through traditional flow, stepping back into plank or hopping into chaturanga. Or if you'd like to, move to downward facing dog, and we'll all meet there momentarily. So wherever you've been, we meet back up in downward facing dog. Walk the feet closer toward each other. Take an inhale breath. We'll lift the right leg up, and with the exhale breath, step the right foot forward. You can get it there any way you like, stepping it forward or guiding it forward with your hand. We'll leave the back heel lifted. Inhale breath, rising into high lunge. The arms could reach overhead. Maybe this is the flame of our candle here. Or we can always lift the hands down onto the thigh to help us balance just a little more. Wherever you are, take an inhale breath, rise up tall. With the exhale breath, we're rotating toward the front leg side, I'll turn around just so that I can face you. Reaching Opposite arm forward, same side arm reaches either to the side or back, coming into a high lunge twist. Maybe we might be inspired by the beautiful ice skaters that somehow have all of that grace and strength and power to float around the ice. I feel like I'm floating on ice right now myself. Take a big breath in, a big breath out, and as you're ready to inhale, the arms reach up. With the exhale breath, hands to the mat, yogi's choice. I'm going to turn back to the front of my mat here. You're welcome to move through flow, stretch in down dog, or rest. One is not better than the other. It's just a choice, simply a choice that you're going to make in that moment, giving yourself exactly what you need. We'll all meet back up in downward facing dog. From down dog, walk the feet closer toward each other. Inhale, lift, left leg up, other leg lifts up. Exhale, breath, stepping, foot, any way you want to get it there, through toward the front of the mat. That could mean that you're going to lower down onto the other knee, step out to the side, and then bring it through with your hand. As you're ready to, take an inhale breath, rise up, high lunge. Back heel is lifted, arms could rise up and make our candlestick here. Maybe hands stay down, or we're making that candlestick with the torso. Wherever you are, reach, opposite hand forward. Other arm reaches to the side or to the back, and coming into our high lunge twist. And you could look forward, you could look out to the side, maybe you're turning to look back. The more that we turn our head, the more that we are challenged in our balance. So give it a try, whatever you need. Take a deep breath in here. As you're ready to, hands come back down to the mat. Once again, yogi's choice. As we come to these choice moments here, you're going to pick exactly what your body needs in that moment. So if you need to move, stepping into plank, moving through chaturanga. If you need to stretch, down dog or any other pose. And if you need to rest, child's pose or any other pose. Let's all meet back in downward facing dog. Have a look back at your toes here in down dog, and don't forget that could be on your knees. So you're either having a look at your knees or having a look at your toes. And as you do that, can you feel that you're pressing the thighs back just a little bit further, that you're drawing in and up through the center of the body just a little bit more. But all of this is a place where you can still breathe smooth and breathe deep. And as you're ready to, look forward toward the front of your mat. Any way you'd like to get them there. The feet are stepping forward, hopping forward, whatever you like. Come to halfway lift. Drop into fold if you like that. We'll take an inhale breath, rising all the way up. Raised hands, or maybe this is our holiday celebratory candle. Take a big breath in, breathe out, and the arms come back down. I'm going to turn and face you just for a moment here. You can stay facing any way that you like. Bring your feet a little closer toward each other, and with an inhale breath, bend the knees, send the hips back and down at the same time. And we'll let the arms reach out in front of us for now. That's going to help us to counterbalance. As we do that, draw the abdomen in and up. Let the hips sink back and down, but try to keep the torso upright. This is our chair. Maybe it's just for today, Santa's chair. Now we can take our chair and turn Santa's chair into elf on a shelf. How about that? Crossing the ankle over the thigh when you'd like to. Hands can be doing anything you like. To the heart center, maybe moving out in front of you or to the side. We've crossed over into this floating figure four. Now, if you don't like the crossover or if the balance is a little bit wonky, you'll just step the foot in front so that you're crossing shin in front of shin. As you're ready to rise back up, see if you can lift the knee up, nice and tall, and lower back down. We'll try that again. The knees bend, the hips back and down, low belly draws in and up, and really all around the center of the body, drawing in and lifting up. When you're ready to, pick up the other foot, see if we can give that elf on a shelf a try. Anything you like. Hands could be here, here, maybe up and out. Anything that's helping you, or when you need the extra challenge, anything that's challenging you. Take one more breath here as you're ready to lift the knee back up. I'm going to turn to the front of my mat again, and we're going to create a little bit of a flow with that. With the inhale breath, bend the knees, sink the hips back and down. Exhale breath, settle into Santa's chair. Pick up your right foot and we'll cross the ankle over, our elf on a shelf. Take one more breath there. And as you're ready to inhale and pick the knee up, you could tap, tap, or float that foot back to high lunge or ice skater. And with the exhale breath, put the back heel down. We'll open the body out to the side, the long side of the mat. Our Virabhadrasana 2, but this also could be a good position to look for Santa's sleigh. I know, they just keep coming, right? Take an inhale breath here. We can recline this, lifting the arm up, big reach. As you breathe out, swing the arm forward toward the front, and we'll step right into chair. So keeping the legs loaded and engaged. Pick up your other heel. Remember, you can cross ankle or shin in front of shin, or you can cross ankle over thigh. Anything you like. Elf on a shelf. Take a breath there. Inhale, breath, and pick the knee up. We'll step it back toward the back of the mat. Lift the arms if you like to, our ice skater. Open out to the long side of the mat. Come into our Virabhadrasana 2, or perhaps are looking for Santa pose. Take a deep breath here. With your inhale breath, we'll recline, lift the arm up. With the exhale breath, turn toward the front of the mat. You can step, you can tap, you could float the foot forward, come back into chair momentarily here. Take a deep breath in as you're ready to fold forward. If you'd like to, walk the feet a little bit wider apart from each other, and we could clasp opposite elbow with the opposite hand. If that feels good for your back, now that's going to lend a little bit more weight into the fold and bring just a little bit of a tractioning effect to the spine. With your next inhale breath, halfway lift, exhale and stay there. We'll walk the feet a little closer toward each other before we rise all the way up into our holiday candle. Take a deep breath, breathe out, and bring hands to the heart. I'll turn and face you. You can be where you like. Feet are pretty close together to create one big balance point. Pick up your right knee, and then let's turn it out to the side. We'll float into tree pose, but we may want to rename tree, and let's see if we can literally float into it without picking up the foot with your hand. Just give it a try. Go there with me. So our tree pose maybe becomes more like a funky menorah. We have to go there, right? all of the hits. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, and release the arms down. Bring the leg back to the center. We'll try it on the other side. So hands come to heart. Just to get them out of the way, we'll pick up the foot. You know, you can always stay on the ball of the foot. Turn the knee out as far as it will go. And then let's see, can we lift it up, maybe onto the calf, maybe a little bit higher? Anything you want to do with the arms, but if you're having a good time with it, you could bring the arms up and out into our cactus arms and kind of be inspired by Menorah. Take a deep breath in here. As you're ready to release the arms, let the knees swing around, bring the foot back down. Take just a moment here if you'd like hands at the heart or arms by your sides. Maybe you'd even like to close your eyes. Tiny little pause in our practice, moving through these familiar shapes and calling them fun names, but always bringing yourselves back to our breath, and through the breath connecting to our body. Through our practice, giving ourselves exactly what we need in that moment. So if your eyes are closed, let your eyes open. Move to the middle of the mat just as I am here. We'll step the feet out. Angle toes and knees out for this, and we'll take the arms up and out. Star pose, right? Maybe we've become more like a snowflake. We can call this snowflake pose. Now we'll slide right heel back, left foot turns forward, or whichever way you're facing. We're gonna do both sides. Begin to bend the front knee, the front leg knee, and we're gonna take this snowflake into a tumbling snowflake. Turn your gaze and look down toward the spot just in front of your front foot. And we're gonna float into what's half moon. Typically we call it half moon, but we'll call it our tumbling snowflake. So push strongly down into the foot. Arms are doing what you like. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, bend the knee, reach back up, big breath in. Breathe out and release the arms down. Give the shoulders a nice roll here. And we'll change sides. So we have toes and knees angling out. Reach the arms up, back to our snowflake.
We'll change to the other side, so sliding the back heel back and the front foot forward. Take a deep breath in here, and as you breathe out, look down toward the front of your foot here. Step onto the foot. We can always leave the foot down in the back or float the leg up. Do our best to float here. Big breath in, breathe out, release it down. Arms can come up and arms back down. Give the shoulders a roll here, back, and a roll forward. Take a deep breath in here and breathe out. We're going to continue with our snowflake, and this time we're going to move it from side to side, so a little bit more of a challenge. Inhale, reach the arms up. With the exhale breath, shift your feet. Look down toward the mat to assist with your balance. Rise up. Remember, you can always leave the foot down, and even if you can touch the fingertips down, try to keep them floating. We'll come back up through the center and change sides. Alternating from side to side, really pushing down into the standing leg foot. The back leg lifts up. Give the glutes a big squeeze, just like you did in our balancing reindeer. Glute max and glute med, gluteus medius, working to help lift the leg up. Let's do that one more time through. Big breath in, breathe out. And we'll come back through the center, rising back up into our snowflake. Big breath in, breathe out, and lower the arms down. We could step or we could hop the feet together and take a little march in place. So we'll work with another balancing pose here, bringing the feet together. Take an inhale breath, pick up your right foot or float the right knee up as you're ready. Let's cross the leg over. So we're coming into eagle legs, but we might change this just for the holidays, and maybe we could call this our dreidel pose, right? Balancing precariously on the tip. At least we're not spinning around, right? Take a deep breath in. Your arms are doing whatever you like. Could be traditional eagle, or if you want to have a little fun, we could make the top of our dreidel here. Maybe it's more like that. Big breath in, breathe out, release it. Try it on the other side. Inhale breath, come into crane. With the exhale breath, cross the leg over. Now you could always bring the foot down to the ground. We don't have to have the foot floating, so we need that extra balance. Try that. Hands can do what you like, together in front of the heart, maybe reaching out. Maybe you're having fun with it today, trying something different with the arms. Great, take a deep breath in here, and then as you're ready to, release it back down. Take a little march in place, and we can move toward the front of our mat. Big breath in, arms reach up, breathe out and fold. Inhale, come into halfway lift. And with the exhale breath, yogi's choice, as always, either moving through a traditional vinyasa or any type of vinyasa, your choice, resting in child's pose or any other pose, or stretching in downward facing dog. So as we return back here to down dog, otherwise known as downward facing reindeer for us today, let's come back into table. Let's slowly lower the knees. How slowly can you lower them? Keeping the elbow joints straight. There's our challenge. Sliding hands back under the shoulders, walking the knees close toward each other, and we'll try our flying reindeer again. Inhale to extend, and exhale to draw it back in, change sides. Inhale to extend, exhaling, drawing it in. Try that one more time. Great. Take any kind of resting pose here. If child's pose feels good for you, do that. Maybe downward facing dog, or maybe resting on the front body. We could take child's pose either with the arms out in front. Sometimes that can lead us into a lot more spine extension, or when you'd like a little bit more flexion, a little bit more rounding, the arms could come down by your sides.
Big breath in here. And as you breathe out, we'll return back
To downward facing reindeer. Only a few more times that we're going to refer to it as that.
the hips lift up. We're pressing
not pressing the heels down toward the ground, but rather pressing the thighs straight back behind us so you can have a look back at your feet. Make sure that your feet and your knees are pointed straight forward. And if you can't, think about pressing a little more weight onto the outer edges of the feet. Now, we don't talk about absolutes in yoga, so if feet forward for some reason doesn't feel good to you, you can always change that up. But often our body will sort of take the easier way, the easier path, and maybe the knees are starting to cave in because that's a little bit easier within your flexibility. So just give it a try. Press into the outer edge of the feet and see what happens there. We'll be there just for a few more breaths. As you're ready to, let's shift forward into plank, otherwise known as sled. And we're gonna give this challenge a try. Now you can do this on your knees. You can do this on your toes, so any kind of plank or any kind of sled will do. Hips are down at the level of the shoulders or just slightly below. Pull one knee into your chest. We'll do it on both sides, so either knee will do. In toward your chest. Low belly has to draw in and up. Can we swing the bent knee out away from you as if we're moving toward tree pose, and then bring it back in. Swing it out and bring it back in. Maybe we'll call this the cat tipped over the Christmas tree pose. One more time, knee swings out, back in. Yogi's choice, rest, stretch, or move. The choice is yours. One choice is not better than the other. It's just something different. We'll return to our downward facing reindeer, and as you're ready to, inhale breath, slide forward into plank or sled, walk the feet closer toward each other or maybe the knees. We're moving on to the other side. So the other knee pulls in toward your chest, bent knee slides out to the side. Do your best to keep your hips down, bring it back in. It slides to the side. Cat tipped over the Christmas tree. One more time, slide it out to the side. Great, and bring it back. Downward facing reindeer, moving through anything that you'd like, or resting, or stretching. We'll take one more breath, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Let's be back in our downward facing reindeer. And as you're ready to, from downward facing reindeer, slide back forward into sled. We'll lower all the way down to the mat. Take an inhale breath, lift the chest up. Hands could stay here under the shoulders. We'll lift the legs as well, squeeze into the back of the hip. And if it feels good, you can reach the arms back. Maybe clasping hands together. Our locust pose, but maybe today we'll call this another version of a sled. Big breath in. Breathe out, release, relax, back down to the mat. We'll lift up again, and you can come back into that same shape if you'd like to. Or if you'd like to, you could bend your knees. So rising the chest up, reaching the hands back. We might bend the knees, take a hold of the ankles. Maybe you hook onto your pant legs, whatever feels good. Press the ankles, the feet into your hands. And maybe this is our sleigh pose. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Lower back down. Forehead could rest on the mat. Your head could turn to the side. Whatever feels good to let you relax. We'll be here for one more breath. Lift the head, hands by the shoulders, rise up. Exhale breath, lower the torso back down. We'll tuck the toes under, come back up to our table. Bring your forearms down to the mat. We could clasp the hands together if that feels good, or you can press the palms down, whatever works for you. Walk the knees a little closer in. We'll tuck the toes under like we're headed toward downward facing dog. Lift your hips up. This is our dolphin pose. But maybe we're inspired by what's happening in San Diego. In December, we have migrating whales. So it's dolphin or it's migrating whales pose, whatever you'd like. Strong push down, the arms pushing the ground away. And as I rise up into my migrating whale, I can see my migrating cat out the door, wanting to come in. If you'd like to, you can walk your feet a little closer. He's going to be upset if I don't let him in, so I will do that. So wherever you are, dolphin, migrating whale, or just watching my cat, Archie, take one more breath. Breathe out, lower the knees back down. Take any restful place, whether that's child's pose or sitting upright or lying down onto your abdomen, whatever you like. We'll be here for one more breath. Now, as you're ready to, we're gonna all come down to a seated position. You're gonna be upset when I jump my feet through. Yeah? Well, maybe I won't take that option then. So we're gonna come to a seated position any way you'd like to get there. If you're practicing in a more vinyasa or a flow style, you might like to move back into our downward facing reindeer and jump your feet through to a seated position. Let's see if I can manage that here with him. Looking forward, press down into the hands, and we'll bring the feet through. Come up to a tall seat position. Now, when we're seated up tall like this, especially holding on, we can feel that we're pretty much on top of the sit bones. We're actually gonna move just back off of the sit bones. Bring the hands behind your legs. Lift the chest, extend the spine, as much extension in the low back as you can. Walk the feet a little closer in. Now, if you'd like to, you could float one leg up, maybe float the other leg up. You could float both shins, perhaps parallel to the ground. You're, of course, welcome to extend the legs and maybe extend the arms as well. This is our Navasana boat pose. Here in San Diego, we get a beautiful boat parade, so if you're not in San Diego, you can imagine that you're here with us, parading in our boats. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, cross the legs. We'll sit up tall and allow the spine to wave forward. So just a few times, bending forward, coming back. We'll try that boat one more time. Feet could stay down, hands could stay behind the legs, or any variation, any kind of boat that you'd like to be. Holiday boat. We're here for one more breath. One more breath. Big breath in. Breathe out, let the legs cross, and once again, wave through the spine. We'll sit up nice and tall. I'm gonna turn and face the front here. You can be any way that you'd like. And we'll move into fire log pose. That's nice for the winter time. Maybe it's our Yule log. So we could cross one shin over top of the other shin. If that doesn't work in your body, we're simply crossing one shin in front of the other shin. So whatever feels good for you. Take a deep breath here. And as you breathe out, try to keep as much length in your spine as you can. Hinge forward from the hips. If we're really keeping length in the spine, we're not going to be able to fold all the way forward. That's fine. We're getting plenty of stretch through the hip. Take a deep breath in here, and we'll rise back up to the top. Change legs. Again, we can be crossing a shin in front or on top, whatever feels good for you. And it may be different as you move from side to side. That's fine too. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Hinge forward from the hips. Keep the chest lifting, keep the spine extending. And with your next breath in, we'll rise back up to the top. Release the legs. I'm going to turn side onto you here. Give them a nice shake. And then we'll return to a cross-legged position. Shin in front of the shin this time. Sit nice and tall. Let's do right leg in front of left. Inhale your left arm up, and with the exhale breath, rotate to your right side. Sitting up nice and tall, spine is extending up. Again, like our holiday candle, we might imagine that we're twisting right around the center of that candle. Take a deep breath in here. Breathe out, return to the center. Change the cross of your legs. We'll inhale the right arm up, and with the exhale breath, rotate to your left side. Shoulders are back on top of the hips, and the head is just balancing right on top of the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out and return back to the center. The activity of our practice is finished for now. We're going to move down onto the mat in any way that feels comfortable to you for our Shavasana, the closing pose of our practice. So that if it feels good to lie down onto your back, do that. You might like to leave the knees bent here or straighten the legs out. We'll rest the arms by our sides. Moving through some traditional shapes, but giving them different names, just having fun with our holiday practice today.
It's important as we move through holidays, as much fun as they can be, to give ourselves time to replenish our own energy so that we might have the energy that we want to give out to others. Letting your body settle into a shape that feels supportive, that feels relaxing, secure, comfortable. And leaning into the sensations that come with relaxation. As your body settles in, breath becoming slower and softer, and just let it slide into this slower and softer place. We'll finish our time here together, but I highly encourage you to stay for as long as you have. I thank you so much for your practice together with me here, for your time, your energy. Namaste.